Announcements.
Yes, Honorable Prime Minister.
Madam Speaker, it is with a feeling of great sadness and a sense of personal loss that we learned of the passing away of Rajes Kalash, former President of the Republic. Madam Speaker, words fail me to express my thoughts and feelings on the death of so close a friend of such long years. Although I knew that his health was deteriorating and that he was fading away from us, such was the strength of this tie that the cutting of it feels like the uncanniest wrench and the cruelest shock. It is a reminder that in the midst of life, we are in death. Kalash was born on the 12th of December 1947 in Kanfuko, and he had his primary schooling at the Sri Shambhunath Government School and his secondary education at the Mauritius College in QPIP. He came from a very modest family. Since a very young age, he used to help his father daily in his job as a milkman. He would walk behind him, pushing his bicycle loaded with the traditional milk containers in those days, helping in the arduous trip from Kanfuko to QPIP to deliver milk. Once in QPIP, Kalash would rush back to school to pursue his studies. By dint of hard work and discipline, he ascended the ladder of success. What stood him apart, Madam Speaker, was his unwavering loyalty. He would be there through all trials and tribulations, come hell or high water. Those who have worked with him, who knew him, describe him as the perfect gentleman with a formidable memory. Madam Speaker, Kalash was a man of exceptional gravitas who personified humility, dignity, and integrity. Former Attorney at Law, Kalash joined the Mauritius Labour Party in 1973, marking the beginning of a long and distinguished political career. His first electoral success came in 1976 when he stood as candidate under the banner of the Independence Party in constituency number 15, La Caverne-Phoenix, and was elected first member. On the 12th of June 1979, he was elected deputy chairperson of committees. In April 1980, he was appointed Minister of Social Security, a portfolio which he held until the dissolution of Parliament in June 1982. Despite his defeat in the 1982 general elections, he made a strong return in 1983 and was elected third member for constituency number 17, QPIP and Midlands. In January 1984, Mr. Prayag was appointed Minister of Health till December 1985. He was persuaded not to contest the 1987 general elections, but he held the post of Secretary General of the Labour Party from 1987 to 1991. Mr. Prayag also served as the President of the Labour Party from 1991 to 1996. In 1991, he contested the general elections under the banner of the Alliance Parti Travailliste PMSD, but was not returned. In 1995, he stood as a candidate under the banner of the Alliance Parti Travailliste MMM in the constituency number 15, La Caverne-Phoenix, and was elected third member. He was appointed Minister of Economic Planning, Information and Telecommunications from January 1996 to June 1997. In July 1997, Mr. Prayag was appointed Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, a portfolio which he occupied till September 2000. On the 12th of March 1998, Mr. Prayag was conferred the title of Grand Officer of the Order of the Star and Key on the Indian Ocean, GOSK, for his outstanding contribution to the advancement of Mauritius. In 2000, he stood as a candidate for the general elections under the banner of the Alliance Parti Travailliste PMXD in constituency number 11, Vieux-Grand-Port and Rosebel, and was not returned. In 2005, Mr. Prayag did not contest the general elections, and on the 12th of July 2005, he was elected Speaker of the National Assembly, a role that he carried out with distinction until July 2012. On the 12th of March 2009, Mr. Prayag was elevated to the rank of Grand Commander of the Order of the Star El Key of the Indian Ocean. On the 20th of July 2012, he was elected as 5th President of the Republic of Mauritius by the National Assembly. He resigned from that office on the 29th of May 2015. In 2013, he was honored with the Pravasi Pariyati Samman by the Government of India, reflecting his strong ties with the Indian diaspora and his commitment to international cooperation. Madam Speaker, Kalash Prayag devoted his life to public service. It is an immeasurable loss for the party he served and also for the country. Madam Speaker, may I request you to kindly direct the clerk to convey the deep condolences of the Assembly to the spouse of Mr. Prayag and his family members. And with your permission, may I invite you, Madam Speaker, invite the House to observe 1 minute of silence as a tribute to Mr. Prayag.
Thank you, members. Honourable Leader of the Opposition. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Honourable Deputy Prime Minister.
Madame le Speaker, je me joins à tout ce que le Premier ministre vient de dire. Madame le Speaker, j'avais beaucoup d'estime et d'amitié pour feu Kalash Prayag. Madame le Speaker, c'est un vrai sage qui s'en est allé, un homme d'honneur, de principe et de courage. Je vous demanderai, moi aussi, d'adresser à sa famille, à ses proches, mes plus sincères condoléances.
Merci. Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the opposition, I associate myself with the tribute paid by the Honourable Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister to late Mr. Kalash Prayag, former President of the Republic, former Speaker of the National Assembly, and former Deputy Prime Minister. I have had the opportunity to know him personally when he was Speaker of the National Assembly. He was a well-respected politician et un digne fils du sol. Il a marqué l'histoire de notre pays et il laisse un héritage politique important pour les générations à venir. May I kindly request you, Madam Speaker, to direct the clerk of the National Assembly to convey our deep condolences to the bereaved family. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable members, I associate myself with the tribute paid to the memory of Mr. Rajes Kailash Prayag, who was also former Speaker of the National Assembly, by the Honourable Prime Minister, the Honourable Deputy Prime Minister, and the Honourable Leader of the Opposition. I have known Kailash Prayag since July 1974, when I started practicing at the bar, and he was already an attorney. We had many common friends. We kept very good relations throughout the years, despite being on opposing sides in the National Assembly sometimes. I direct the clerk to convey the deep condolences of the Assembly to the bereaved family. Thank you.
Papers, none. Question.
Madam Speaker, I'd like to raise a point of order,
Yes.
if you will allow me. Under Section 42 of our standing orders, to the effect that on Friday, 20th of June, 2025, the Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Paul Béranger, made unprovoked remarks to my address by calling me a cochon, which is both insultive and offensive. I would therefore request that the Honorable Deputy Prime Minister be asked to apologize to the House and to withdraw his remarks.
Honourable Member, I was not expecting you to raise this at this point, but the Honourable Deputy Prime Minister has already talked to me and expressed his desire to withdraw these words. Honourable DPM.
As you just said, I withdraw the word cochon addressed to the member, but I do not agree at all that it was unprovoked.
We can't go on like this. This is a solemn moment. He's withdrawn. He's withdrawn. Yes, Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Yes, before I put my PNQ, Madam Speaker, in the same vein, I raised a point of order also, and I'm waiting reply from the seat, Madam Speaker.
Yes, of course, I'm following even if I'm not here. And I have spoken to the Deputy Prime Minister. He will deal with this after lunch, okay? Deputy Speaker. I'm sorry. Deputy Speaker. He will deal with this issue. You were supposed to write to me, but I didn't get anything. He will deal with this issue because I think he's looking at the proceedings on that day. So let him deal with this when he comes after lunch. Your PNQ, please.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have given notice of the following private notice question addressed to the Honourable Minister of Social Integration, Social Security and National Solidarity, whether in regard to the Board of the National Empowerment Foundation, he will, for the benefit of the House, obtain information as to the names of the applicants who responded to the expression of interest published on 16th January 2025 for appointment as directors to serve thereon, indicating the qualifications and experience thereof, further indicating the names of the 8 persons who form part of the interview panel, and B, successful candidates and their respective experience in poverty alleviation.
Yes, Minister.
I would like to thank the Leader of the Opposition. I'm in the lucky list of the Leader of the Opposition, being the subject of a PNQ within 7 days. That's fine. In regard to the main issue of the PNQ, I wish to inform the House that I have obtained information as to the names of the applicants who responded to the expression of interest published on the 16th January 2025. I have sought advice from the SLO. The SLO has no objection that the list be provided for consultation to members of the National Assembly, to be tabled for consultation, and I will now consult the data protectioner because the list, we have 269 people who have applied, and upon guidance of the Data Protection Commissioner, I will table the list of all the applicants, including their full CVs. That's for the first part of the question. In regard to section A of the question, that is person who form part of the interview panel, I wish to inform the Leader of the Opposition that there is no such obligation, no such mechanism provided under law and under the Constitution of the National Empowerment Foundation. So I do not wish to reply, but however, I will reply to the question saying that all the 269 expression of interest was submitted, and I delegated my junior minister to assist me in sorting and processing these 269 expression of interest. My junior minister constituted a team to process these 269 expressions of interest, and I selected the members, the proposed members of the board, and submitted to all the legal mechanism provided in the Constitution of the National Empowerment Foundation and to Cabinet, as provided in law. In regard to Section B of the PNQ, successful candidates and their respective experience in poverty alleviation, I am tabling a list of all the successful, I would say, people, a person who expressed their interest and those selected by me, and I am submitting the list. During the course of this session, today or tomorrow, I will also submit, because 269 CVs, it's something I need to have a suitcase to bring it here, but I will bring it here for the CVs, not for the members who have been selected and nominated by Cabinet to sit in the National Empowerment Foundation. This would be my answer, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Your first.
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. I think very rare occasions that we see a minister taking on himself for saying, I do not wish to reply to a question. May I ask the Honourable Minister to inform the House where the interview for the selection of the directors took place and whether the members of the interview panel are members of the Résistance et Alternative political party?
Minister.
Yes, as I informed the House, there is no such provision for any interview or selection panel in law. And I directed the junior minister to constitute a team. Yes, I could have wake up in the morning and draw the list of the people who I would nominate to the board. But I decided, as an innovative idea, to open an expression of interest. This is the first time that this occurred in the country. I talked to my colleague in the government. They do appreciate this, and they stated that it was innovative. Maybe we should imagine doing it collectively at one point in time. Then the expression of interest is the first time in history that this process was carried out by a minister. This is our contribution to enabling people that we don't know, who are qualified, who have experiences, to apply. And we opened this, and then I had 269 letters. I delegated the junior minister, who by law and his letter of appointment is supposed to assist the minister. He assisted me. He constituted a team, and the team constituted of people that I trust. That's very important. The people that I trust. And I must also say that it is not an application, it is not an application for an appointment, but an expression of interest for nomination.
Minister, the question was very clear.
Yes?
I understand people you trust, but answer the question.
Yes, the people are Stéphane Gua, Danny Monti, Danny Marie, and Vinadola, a woman. Okay, these four people I trust because I've been struggling for 40 years, 30 years, 20 years together with them.
You're still not replying to the question.
Yes, please.
The question was whether they were from your party.
Yes, yes.
Say so.
And I trust people from my party.
I take note the answer of the Honourable Minister, and I hope other colleague ministers will follow suit to this innovative approach for the selection process within government. Madam Speaker, may I ask the Honourable Minister whether the interview was carried out within the premises of the Ministry of Social Integration, Social Security and National Solidarity?
One moment. Honourable, may I speak? Honourable Leader of the Opposition, he mentioned twice, I think, there was no interview. So he was, okay.
Then I'll put it differently. Whether the selection process
What?
was carried out within the Ministry of the premises of the Ministry of Social Integration, Social Security and National Solidarity?
Straight question, straight answer.
Straight answer. The selection was carried out by me, as provided in law and provided in the Constitution of National Empowerment Foundation. Wherever I think and I select, this is a matter of personal issue.
The premises, Minister, the premises.
I think wherever I am, when I'm in the car, I think, yeah, of course, I choose, I select the people. Now, I find it very surprising that the leader of the opposition is pinpointing the National Employment Foundation. Maybe I should remind him of how the organization was run over the previous 10 years. First, the leader of the opposition is asking these questions with respect to, and he's asking question where were you when Mr. Rafik Sorefan was nominated as chairperson of the NEF? Okay? Where were you? Where were the minister? How did she select this chairperson? Let me remind you that Mr. Rafik Sorefan joined the MSM in 2017 and played an important role in the party in the 2019 elections. He is a dentist by profession. He is a dentist. May the leader of the opposition explain to the people of Mauritius, to the House, the contribution of a dentist to poverty alleviation? Now, let me bring a second case, because the leader of opposition seems interested in these issues. Where was the leader of the opposition? Please, where was the leader of the opposition? And where was the selection made for Mrs. Sheila Kaupen when she was nominated on the board of the NEF in 2015 and 2019? Was it in SunTrust? Mrs. Kaupen worked in the secretariat of the MSM at the SunTrust building. So the selection may have been made in the SunTrust. May the leader of the opposition considers such a position to be relevant in poverty alleviation, that is, administrative clerk in SunTrust? You should ask these precise questions. No, así. Ali, magarian di Italia.
I note that the Honourable Minister has not replied to my question, whereby I requested him to tell the House where the selection process took place. Can the Honourable Minister confirm to the House whether his colleague, Honourable Kugan Parapen, Junior Minister at his ministry, was involved in the shortlisting of the candidates and at the head of the interview panel? And does it find it normal?
I already answered this question.
Does it find it normal for the junior minister and members of his party to be at the interviewing panel, Madam Speaker?
I'm sorry. You keep talking of interviewing panel.
Okay, selection.
I'm a lawyer. We have a few lawyers here. Talk of something which relates to what he said. So you're talking about the selection process? So what the question was about the junior minister?
Yes.
Right.
I think the leader of the opposition is ill-informed, because since 16th January 2025, a public notice was published in many newspapers and on the GIS website.
It isn't my main question, Madam Speaker.
Let him reply the way that he thinks he can reply. Allez.
Just banane, allez. Let me read. Can I reply, Madam Speaker?
If your friends allow you, they are making noise. Maybe you should keep
Yes.
quiet.
The expression of interest, this is the title of the expression of the interest, to serve as directors on the board of the National Empowerment Foundation. It's in 9 paragraphs. I won't read it, of course, but I need to read 1 paragraph, okay? Expression of interest should be submitted to the Office of the Junior Minister of Social Integration, Social Security, and National Solidarity, Level 13, Ranganaden Sinivasan Building, Port Louis, by Monday, 27th January 2025 at latest. With mentioned expression of interest for NEF board on the left-hand side of the envelope, late submission will not be considered. So from the first day, it was publicly, as per the function of the junior minister, all letters was addressed, it was a public information to the junior minister. And let me also inform the leader of the opposition in the House. I will refer to the letter of appointment given by the President of the Republic to all junior ministers. The function of the junior minister is to assist the minister. If the leader of opposition could have a look at these letters, then he would know that it is the function of the junior minister to assist the minister.
Next question.
Now, my next question, Madam Speaker. Does the Honourable Minister find it normal that one Mrs. Danny Marie, who is his companion, forms part of the selection process, and will he agree that this selection exercise is inappropriate and is a direct conflict of interest?
Let me say, opinion, no, I will give facts. Danny Marie is an activist, as are the activists trusted by the junior minister and me, as Vina Dola. She has been an activist for more than 45 years. Danny Monti has been an activist and a trade unionist. Danny Marie was in front of bulldozers when bulldozers were crushing the homes of poor people in this country. Maybe the leader of opposition don't know. All Mauritius remember the coordinating work that Danny Marie did during the Waka Show. Their crime, their ecological crime. It was Danny Marie who collected and coordinated all the activities there, dealing with the craft, leisure people, dealing with the fisher folks, dealing with Mauritian, all around Mauritius. Yeah, paf, Kutman Footy. Then Danny Marie collected the Shaolong, collected the canes, leaves, and organized the first and maybe unique ecological activities on the planet. This is what I remember from Danny Marie, and this is why I trusted and I asked the junior minister to do it. People like Danny Marie should have been given a medal in honor for what she did, together with David Sauvage, together with the others. Okay. Now, because the leader of the opposition has been asking this question, let me say that the one who will go in history and will get the medal of nepotism in this country is the MSM, government. How about Sharmila Sona Ori? God, no, of course, no. If you want to cousin of Kobita Jagnat, member of the Electoral Supervisory Commission, legal advisor to government, and pocketed millions of taxpayers' money. Let me assure the House that nobody who helped Junior Minister Papa, nobody took a cent. A cent. Maybe they had a cup of coffee and tea. Okay? So, how about Sharmila Sona Ori? How about Maya Anumanji, Speaker of the National Assembly, High Commissioner of Mauritius in India? How about Naila Anumanji? No, I must reply. CEO of Lensco. How about Vijaya Sampat, close friend of Anil Gayan, nominated as director of Kojak Center for 323,000 rupees a month? How about Nita Nakched? Everybody knows the close relationship between Honorable and ex-minister. Daniel Sauce? Okay. But, Madam Speaker, I am proud to have contributed to nominate people with experience. People whom I didn't know. But through the expression of interest, I got a pool of the competence of Mauritians, the knowledge, the experience of Mauritians. And it is from this pool that I chose the directors of the board.
Minister, one moment. You did the selection.
Of course.
Not that.
No, they only had processed
That's
the
it.
262
One moment. Let him
letters.
finish. You want him to talk? Yes, all right.
May I ask the Minister, given that the whole process has relied on persons who have no affiliations, no responsibility at the ministry, over the letter, was on the letterhead of the ministry, he has in fact played Chapter 1 of the Communist Playbook, appointment by the party for position of the state.
What state?
Will he now, the question is,
I didn't understand.
I said he has applied to the letter, Chapter 1 of the Communist Playbook, appointment by the party. Yes, yes. The question is, Madam Speaker, will he now, given that the whole process has been tainted, will he now proceed with the normal that all his colleagues have done, the normal appointment process for directors, which doesn't involve members of his party taking on responsibilities of the ministry without any affiliation to it?
One moment. I don't understand what is going on. As far as I can understand, he didn't even have to do that. Yeah, but he said it already. He said it already.
The process anew.
Il reste pas beaucoup de temps.
I do not agree with Honorable Juval that the process was tainted. I carried the process in accordance, strict compliance with law. I even did better. I opened the interest for all Mauritians. Maybe they should learn from Maybe. And I proceeded as per the Constitution of National Empowerment Foundation. I proceeded as per law. Okay? Let me say, maybe the opposition don't know some of the people that have been selected. I will table the list. Let me take only one. The chairperson I have selected and brought to the cabinet for approval is Mr. I will give his name in this house, Hutes Ramburn. He is 68. He was a former Director General of the NBC. He was the chief operating officer of La Sentinelle Limited, but more importantly, since March 2007 and until 2009, he was the coordinator of the empowerment program, and since July 2008, he was the executive director of National Empowerment Foundation. I will table the CV. He is a man with great experience in many public institutions. I can say that I've nominated Mr. Utes Ramburn because of his administrative experience, but also because he was the executive director of the very National Empowerment Foundation. This is just an example. I can go on for all the 9 persons that have been nominated by me.
Okay.
And this is very different to what happened to the dentist.
Okay.
Speaker, this selection process is a blatant case of conflict of interest. On the 16th of May, Cabinet agreed to the nomination of one Mr. Axel Chenet as Chief Executive Officer of the NEF. Can the Honourable Minister inform the House whether the latter has already taken office?
Let me first, because the leader opposition commented on the process. Let me inform the House that before launching this expression of interest, we contacted the State Law Office. It was upon the advice of the State Law Office that we published this public expression of interest. Green light of the SLO. And let me explain. There's nothing, nomination by ministers have nothing to do with ministry per se, because it's not a recruitment. It's in the civil service. It's not an appointment. It's not an appointment. It's only a nomination by the minister as per law, and in this case, a private company, state-owned private company. And all the opinion of the State Law Office has been sought, and we have go ahead when we receive the opinion of the State Law Office. And as for Mr. Axel Chenet, okay, I propose that he be nominated by the coming board as Director General. When the Cabinet analyzed this nomination, the Cabinet was of the opinion that we cannot proceed with the nomination. So we let the board, the new board, sit and make proposal, and then we'll discuss. But it won't be Hans Marguerite. That's for sure. Who has been nominated, who was nominated, and within 2 weeks have to resign. So it won't be Hans Marguerite, who was the former executive director of the National Empowerment Foundation under the regime of the MSM, the personification of corruption, personification of nepotism in Mauritius.
Yes. We got...
With regard to the nomination of the Chief Executive Officer, Honourable Minister, c'est le monde à l'envers. But may I now ask the Minister whether he will agree that this selection exercise was far from being transparent and favoured people close to his political party.
Minister, short and sweet. We got...
Not sweet.
Switches.
On a point of order, Madam
Yes.
Speaker. You see, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition has been in this House for many, many, many years.
Unfortunately.
And the thing is, the standing orders are very clear. You cannot phrase your questions. Madam Speaker, you cannot, according to standing orders, phrase your question in such a manner as to ask for the opinion of the Minister. And this is what he's done. This is what he's done. Read your standing orders. You've been Speaker. You are asking him for his opinion each and every time. Is it in order? When you cannot ask someone whether it is in order. That is his opinion.
One moment. Leader of the Opposition, you've opened the floodgate. No, I haven't. Yes, you have, and you're repeating. You're repeating. I'm not going to give an opinion on this, a ruling on this. You've got a few minutes left. What was your last question? Would you like to reply? Yes, last question was?
I said he
Yeah.
favored people from his political party.
Yeah, you favored people from your political party. Let him answer.
I've already replied to this question. I delegated the junior minister to constitute a team of people which I trusted, of course, and I've already replied to this question. All the exercise was a transparent exercise in accordance with law, and I did more than normal, okay? Though I did innovative. And I decided to opt for a method, for a process that was not the same as when they nominated Mr. Rafik Sorafan. Okay, I've chosen not to do this.
Answer the question.
Yeah, there's nothing tainted. I'm proud of the nomination.
Okay. Up to you.
Giving the floor, I have one last question.
Let him do his last question.
Madam Speaker, in view of the seriousness of this issue, will the minister consider resigning, Mr. Speaker?
I have been elected. You are the leader of the opposition, and the members have been otherwise elected. I'm proud to be here. I'm doing my job with my political conviction and in good faith. Okay? But I must say, I have to say one last thing. The leader of the opposition decided to go to the Financial Crimes Commission. Okay. On the 4th of June, he went to the Financial Crime Commission. So despite this issue that we are dealing in the National Assembly is sub judice, I decided to reply to all questions. So wait your answer. And I must say, the investigation was into the alleged corruption of appointment. Okay, corruption, you have to go to the FCC and see all the MSM people.
Time is up. Time is up. Minister, time is up. Thank you very much, everybody.
Motion.
Motion.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I beg to move that all the business on today's order paper be exempted from the provisions of paragraph 2 of Standing Order 10.
Yes. The question is that all the business on today's order paper be exempted from the provisions of paragraph 2 of Standing Order 10. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Statement by Ministers none. Public Bill second reading.
Yes, Honourable Minister of Land Transport.
Madam Speaker, in June 2024, during a symposium at Caroline, Dr. Navin Ramgoolam had stated the following. Les prochaines élections impliquent la survie de l'île Maurice. And he was not wrong. Today we are living this reality. The measures recommended in this budget exercise may be tough, but I believe we all must come together on them for the sake of our children and grandchildren. Having said so, I express empathy to our brothers and sisters who were eagerly looking forward for their pension payment. The Prime Minister has done it as well. He said it's not avec gaieté de cœur. But these measures are somehow needed, as has been amply explained, how their pension will be delayed in payment ranging from 5 years, 1 year to 5 years. It is indeed a very emotional issue. We are in this sorrow state of affairs because of the legacy that MSM has left us after 10 years in office. In making the increase of pension payment and electoral promise in 2014 and 2019 elections without any plan to sustain the system in time, the MSM and the Ministers of Finance has led this country into the abyss. Mr. Jagnat must instead come out and explain how he, in the current situation he left us in, would have been able to finance pension as per normal without compromising others' disposable income, their future pension, and the national debt level. The current Prime Minister and Minister of Finance has shown a lot of courage to tackle a problem that the previous government had chickened out, and I wish to commend him for his consideration for the future generation. In the Bible, it is said, where there is no vision, the people perish. From 2015 to 2024, I have attended almost all the parliamentary sessions, save for when I was not in Mauritius. Week in, week out, I have seen how the country was going into the abyss. And there was nothing much that we could do here in Parliament. When I heard the Honourable Leader of Opposition seeking protection from you the other day, it actually tickled my funny bone. It made me laugh. He forgot what Fakir was. Not only for his constant bullying, we were prevented from asking important questions. Questions that the former government ministers were constantly bolting away from. It was common practice for the then Prime Minister to be allowed to drag his first PQ in Prime Minister's question time for 30 minutes in order for him to get away scot-free from embarrassing questions. Questions on real debt of the country, scandals in ministries, looting of national banks, mismanagement of procurement processes, non-performing parastatals, SPVs, to mention but a few, were put away with great facility. One evening in 2017 at Saint-Élise Goumani in Plainvert, in a meeting organized by the young wings of the Labour Party of Constituency Number 3, Dr. Navin Ramgoolam had asked me to speak. During my speech, I said from my experience from a civil servant, I did not prepare the speech on that day. I said from my experience as a former civil servant that damages that the MSM was causing will be very difficult to repair. And today, this is the fact. We can see it. The abyss is a reality. And we needed to come out of it together as one people, as one nation. The Honourable Minister Shakil Mohammed has just returned from Singapore, and he was questioning me about the pension system in Singapore. He was there last week. Madam Speaker, I started off my career in Singapore as an engineer by contributing 20% every month of my salary into the Central Provident Fund. And my employer was doing the same. And that's, I think the Honourable Utim was there at the material time when I was working. And that's the only pension there is there. It is fully contributory. Bearing in mind the emotional aspects here in Mauritius, there in Singapore, no pension is paid from government taxpayers' money. Call it by any name, be it pay as you earn, CSG. At the end, it's taxpayers' money, money of Mauritians. Since the presentation of the budget, I've made 3 public interventions. The first one was 6 days after on NBC TV. Last week, together with the Honourable U team, to school students in our constituency. And last Saturday, I intervened on Radio Plus because there was someone who was talking about the CNT. So in an impromptu manner, I was questioned for about 40 minutes by Mr. Nawaz Nubaks. On the pension system, I was off guard, but I replied to his question. Madam Speaker, I opened the book to him on radio. I told him that our pension is fully contributory. And I even asked him, do you know how much is deducted from our salary any month? Because everybody says that MPs and ministers are paid hefty pensions at the end of their career. I told him, I opened the book, and I told him, if I add my pension, if I add my family protection scheme, if I add other social contribution, there is a total of 26,000 rupees that is deducted from my salary every month. And I'm not talking about tax. Pay is another 20,000 rupees. So that's 46,000 rupees. So I explained. So if I have been a minister in this parliament for 3 mandates, it will be about 5 million rupees that I would have contributed to my own pension fund over time. It works exactly like a private pension fund. So it's fully contributory. There's a misconception outside. And he asked me about my car facilities. I told him, you know, I'm still using Mr. Ganu's car. that is 5 years old. It has 165,000 kilometers at the odometer. It breaks down very often. My officers are telling me maybe you should consider changing that car for economic sake. And he asked me about my duty-free car. Why should it be 3 years instead of 5 years? And I gave him my own example. I said my own duty-free car is more than 4 years old. I have an Audi. It's more than 4 years old, and I will change it when the time is right. And he, an overseas mission. I told him that the Prime Minister has told us travel only if there's a need to travel. And everybody is abiding by that. So there's a misconception outside. People are using MPs as excuse to criticize the measures that are needed in this budget. So, well, I had to say it because I think it is important sometimes to say things. Let me move to the land transport sector, Madam Speaker. When Mr. Jean Todt came to Mauritius on invitation of the Honourable Prime Minister, he just suggested the creation of a road safety fund, for which the budget has made mention this year. I've had the chance to talk to the Minister of Financial Services, under whose ministry falls the subject of insurance, an important stakeholder for the creation of this fund. In his first public declaration after the budget presentation, I heard the former Minister of Land Transport, Alan Ganu, criticizing this innovative financing mechanism that seeks to ensure the long-term sustainability and effectiveness of our road safety initiatives. So I'm a bit baffled by his position on this. Let me remind him that under his ministerial watch, 26 traffic lights at critical locations for road safety had remained faulty for several months. We have initiated necessary actions to repair, and same will be functional very soon. In the new penalty point system, which will be online rather with the use of driving license counterparts, we shall introduce a bonus concept whereby drivers who have accumulated penalty points may, under certain conditions, have a reduction in the number of points accumulated. Also, it is envisaged that a special protocol be accorded to professional drivers like for buses, taxis and good vehicles due to the nature of their job and the amount of time they spend on the roads, which make them more vulnerable actually. Furthermore, our commitment to road safety begins this year with a substantial financial allocation of 205 million rupees that will be invested to fund critical infrastructure upgrades across the country, and which will include, number one, improve road markings and signage. Number two, enhanced delineation in accident-prone areas. Number three, installation of additional speed calming measures. Number four, upgrades to dangerous intersections. And lastly, development of safer pedestrian crossings. Before leaving the road safety subject, let me put on record my sincere thanks to the ministers and MPs of constituency number 3 and number 2 for assisting me in Plenviet yesterday in sensitizing on the limitation of the size of objects to 3 meters height during procession for the forthcoming Gun, what is the Yamse participants, and the forbidden practice of carrying electric generators on board. Now, objects during procession are limited in height to 3 meters. So the House will recall that the new regulations were applied for the Mahashivratri procession earlier this year, following which there were no accidents recorded, unlike previous years, as we all know. So we are expecting the same collaboration for Yamse this year. Madam Speaker, the nickname on social media, I see a nickname that is being given to me, Horseman. Because in my sector, the land transport, there are a lot of prices, a hike in prices. Like, for example, the increase in road taxes for all categories of vehicle and the introduction of retention fee for all and personalized registration marks for vehicle. So I will talk to them about them briefly. Let me begin with the most...
But Osman in Paris was a very important person with fantastic roads. Maybe that's what they meant.
Thank you. The most contested one, Madam Speaker, is about the personalized and registration marks for vehicles. The present all registration marks are issued from number 1 to FM 2500 and from FN to ZZ followed by a number between 1 and 1000. The budget measure announced will enable vehicle owners to have a wider choice as to the range of all registration marks that will henceforth go beyond FM 2501 up to FM 9999, so more variety in numbers. Similarly, numbers FN to ZZ will also be available from 1 to 9999 in each series. This change in combination will, however, require an amendment to be brought to the definition of all registration marks in Section 2 of the Road Traffic Act. However, there have been several representations and several sometimes legitimate points put forward by those who have already paid for their numbers in the past. In order to work out what may be the most reasonable formula for this proposed budgetary measure, the number registration marks will have to be first drawn, keeping in mind the legal issues that may arise with the introduction of that fee. As regards the particular aspect, I have spoken to the Honourable Attorney General and subsequently to the Honourable Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, and the Junior Minister as well. The new management at the NLTA will work closely with the Ministry of Finance so as to expeditiously chart across the way forward in a fair, legal and reasonable manner on this budgetary measure. A thorough communication will be issued in due course. Madam Speaker, the main objective behind readjusting the prices of vehicles is firstly to address a challenge that touches the lives of countless of Mauritians. The escalating issue of road traffic congestion and also its indirect impact of those of the working class who get stuck, stressed and even delayed to work every day. I met with a representative of the Government Services Employees Association recently following a letter they had written to the Honourable Prime Minister and copied to me. Their main qualms were transportation and traffic jam related problems facing civil servants working in Eben and in Port-Louis, the same problem that applied to all Mauritians actually. Madam Speaker, the number of vehicles on our roads has increased by 46% from 2015 to 2024, reaching 722,000 vehicles as at December 2024 under the MSM regime, to the point that my friend, Mr. Khalil Elahi, had coined the following sentence: plus de voitures que des bébés qui naissent à Maurice. Indeed, last year there were a record of 35,000 new vehicles on our roads, and this government of change could not adopt a more responsible approach. Madam Speaker, more vehicles also means more road crashes and fatalities. This 46% in fleet has led to an increase of 40% in road crashes over the same period. There were nearly 40,000 of road accidents last year, a very high figure indeed. Building more roads does not necessarily improve the traffic congestion problem. The congestion con is a phenomenon that I have been talking about here in this Parliament since 2022, during the budget exercise actually, exactly 2 years ago. It simply says that more roads means more vehicles given time. The previous government has left us with 3 clear examples. The roundabouts at Eben, which I had the chance to talk to my Honourable colleague, Minister of Public Infrastructure, and that of QPIP has caused more traffic jam. The Sarge Bridge, like I mentioned in Parliament before, has led to more vehicles being on the M1, and this causes traffic jam as well at the entrance of Port-Louis. With more vehicles comes the difficulty in finding parking slots and sometimes disputes and road rages. Sound and air pollution are out of control. Our air quality has deteriorated from being 2nd position in the world to 6th position because of more vehicles coupled with the fact that our grid has become more polluting as it uses more coal today than during the days of Maurice Ildurab. I think the Honourable Patrick Assevaden has explained this last week. So even the electric vehicle is today more polluting than the conventional car if it uses the CB grid. The stability of the electricity grid has become a problem as well. Charging electric cars after office hours coincide with peak time electricity demand, and this causes shortages in supply on the electricity grid. This is why our new fleet of 105 electric buses of the CNT, 100 from India and 5 from China, will be charged at off-grid, off-peak on the grid of the CEB at CNT depot. As regards increase in road prices, what we normally call as déclaration, it was done to keep up with cost of living since it was last reviewed some 15 years ago, during which period the country has experienced an average annual increase in inflation of 3.7% yearly, therefore make it a total over 15 years of more than 50% if compounded. The abolition of registration duty on the sale of and transfer of domestic pre-owned vehicles, however, seeks to encourage sale of cars within the country and will hopefully bring down the annual increase rate of additional vehicles on the road and all its associated problems. Let me now move to another measure, Madam Speaker. I am glad that the Honourable Minister of Finance has confirmed the financial provisions of 78 million rupees for the first time ever in a budget exercise for the fleet management system, which when implemented will bring many benefits to commuters, like real-time passenger information on smartphones, better planning of bus travel, NLTA to have real operational reports, government to pay strictly for services provided, improvement in service level through better compliance with timetable and bus releases. It will take some time because there is a procurement process to follow. This is the normal process of the ministry. For about 3 weeks now, there is a new management at the head of the NLTA with the coming back of former Commissioner Mr. Nabi Bakas and his deputy Mr. Apajala. It is only now that we can see daylight about how things were being done there. Applications for transfer of public service vehicles, taxis, public buses, contract buses were received as far back as 2020 and were left pending at the NLTA, which include 135 applications for transfer of taxi licenses, from individual to individual, from late licenses to their heirs, from heirs to full-time drivers, and succession, which have remained pending since 2020, 2021, and 2022, causing ruthlessly immense hardship to vulnerable families. 40 applications for transfer of contract car, contract bus, and road service licenses, 12 applications for petrol station service licenses, 1 application actually for a new station dates back to 2019. I have to say that things were left in the drawers, and I cannot possibly tell why, for obscure reasons. The new management at the NLTA has processed some 40 applications for registration certificate of works as full-time and part-time taxi drivers in taxis. The applicants have notified of outcome of the application. They have already been notified. So that is 3 weeks of work. Madam Speaker, I have so far replied to several parliamentary questions on poor service level provided by bus companies because of a weakened NLTA over the last 10 years, and that is at supervision level, which was very low. We have made provision for 11 management support officers at the NLTA to give assistance to the inspectorate cadre after that they have attended a crash course, so to speak, for them to be acquainted in the new role on the field as opposed to doing office work. They've been posted at major bus terminals like Yang Palak, North and South, Victoria Urban Terminal, Place Margeo, and Immigration Square. I shall ask the NLTA to review their placements as and when needed for them to continue to monitor bus services and compliance of operators with the approved timetables of operation on which they are paid through public funds up until the time the fleet management system is up and running. And then the system will become autonomous. Since we are at the NLTA, let me mention that a holistic business process re-engineering exercise will be undertaken at the NLTA in line with a revised digitalized plan. This was never budgeted by the previous government. Already we have launched an online MVL payment system together with my colleague, the Honorable Minister of ICT, paiement déclaration, also called paiement déclaration, which if everybody adheres to, will allow 550,000 vehicle owners to pay their road tax online. This is going to be the largest online platform for taxes in Mauritius, ahead of the MRA, which has a very good system, but which has a client base of 200,000. We have 550,000 potential customers going online for payment of declaration. So eventually we've done the calculations the other day, we can even go up to 577,000 vehicles. We are talking about cooperatives, farmers, and taxis. Since we are talking about taxi, the Cabinet of Ministers has last Friday taken cognizance of the appointment of a 33-year-old economist, Mr. Kai Young Takwang, as chairperson of the Taxi Operators Welfare Fund. He is the holder of a BSc in Economics with specialization in transport and logistic management. I hope he will bring the Taxi Operators Welfare Fund to a different level and to the satisfaction of the taxi operators community. I've spoken to Mr. Leung over the weekend and suggested to him that getting taxi drivers on MoPass and other administrative issues being cleared will go a long way to facilitate their eventual payment of their declaration online, and so can they pay their monthly contribution of 300 rupees to the fund, rather than having to go there all the time to pay. This will facilitate matters. I've also told Mr. Leung that he must endeavor to clear all those taxi drivers who are currently in very difficult situations and who are awaiting their due compensation from the Taxi Operators Welfare Fund according to law. Madam Speaker, the decentralization of the NLTA is yet another realization to be witnessed in the very near future. This initiative aims at bringing our services closer to our people while optimizing on our resources and promoting the customer-oriented approach. The proposed NLTA sub-office at Phoenix will also cater for a vehicle registration and transfer center with one-stop shop whereby both the NLTA and the Registrar General's Department will be housed under a single roof in the office space that was used before by Larsen and Toubro during the construction of the metro system. The renting out of this facility will bring non-fare revenue to Metro Express Limited, just like the forthcoming renting out of the ex-dormitories that Larsen and Toubro was using for its 1,050 workers as Cité Rissier during construction. We are working together on this to provide a large-scale facility for foreign workers to be housed there. There was a proposal to have a quarantine facility there, but the Honourable Minister of Agro-Industry has agreed not to proceed with this. So we are now awaiting clearance from the Minister. Yeah, good friend, yeah. We are now awaiting clearance from the Ministry of Lands. The renting of this facility will bring non-fare revenue to Metro Express Limited, just like the forthcoming renting out of the next dormitories, like I said just now. The new NLTA facilities at Phoenix and in the north and in smaller offices at Victoria Urban Terminal will alleviate the customers in the nearby regions and those of the south, such that they would not require to travel to Port Louis to undertake transfer of ownership and registration of their vehicle. A source of complaints many times we've seen on the social media. Madam Speaker, the bridge to the future cannot be conceived without a clear vision for a modern and sustainable transport system. This can be related to Metro Express Limited. Over the last few months, since I've become minister, we've worked hard to improve its finances and services. Since Metro Express Limited has been paid a total of 70.1 million rupees by Alliance Media for advertising along its properties. And here I have to thank the Honourable Stephanie Octil for questions that she had put in Parliament. So Alliance Media has paid us 70 million rupees following your question. For several years, until I became minister, that company had paid 19.9 million rupees. This is what Metro Express kept telling me. The previous administration was very tolerant towards non-payment, and one can only wonder why. The previous administration did not do its level best for the company. That is why the deficit is 300 million rupees. To improve further the financial situation, We have closed down useless offices in Eben for which high rental was being paid. We have added 2 idling trains at peak time to better service commuters and to enhance income. We have embarked on the aggressive campaign to pas payer, de tasser, to lower fare evasion. As I had mentioned in my reply to the Honourable Anquetil last Tuesday, Parliament question on security services, the Board of Metro Express Limited has met on Saturday morning and has decided the following: to terminate the contract of Edmond Securities, to seek police assistance and recruit another security company, to initiate campaign so as to go cashless as from January 2026. So please, you all buy your me cards. I am confident that the annual deficit of 300 million rupees will be lowered this year. I am confident that it can be further lowered if we manage to recruit a good CEO through the recruitment process that we have embarked on, especially non-fare revenue potential that the facilities at Phoenix and Cité Richelieu can offer to the company. Madam Speaker, the National Transport Corporation is at a crossroad towards sustainable public transportation and the pressing challenges facing the national bus service. I always look at my friend Mr. Jagannath when I talk about the NTC. We had embarked on a recruitment process for a general manager, but same has not been successful as the panel chaired by the senior chief executive of the ministry, of my ministry, did not find the appropriate candidate. I shall brief the Cabinet of Ministers next Friday, hopefully, and a decision taken accordingly. The government of Mauritius has taken a decisive step towards modernizing our public transport system with 105 electric buses this year. I wish to inform the House that 10 electric buses out of 100 donated by the government of India and another 5 donated by the People's Republic of China are already in Mauritius. The remaining 90 electric buses from India will be shipped in 3 batches of 30 during the months of October to December 2025. Meanwhile, the CNT is pressing up with the installation of charging facilities as per established roadmap. We are monitoring closely its prompt implementation, and we are watchful of any mishaps or sabotage that could potentially happen in this very hostile environment left behind by the previous administration. The whole country knows how on one particular Monday morning, on a busy school day, 2 CNT buses caught fire and were burned completely. We are leaving no stones unturned by a thorough rotating policy to cater for all eventualities. Meanwhile, we are eagerly awaiting for the findings of the Financial Crime Commission inquiry on fake spare parts that were sold for the price of original ones, like as narrated to me by my good friend, Honorable Jagannath, bought for genuine spare parts. Fake parts bought for the price of genuine spare parts. And I hope one day FCC can talk to him because he has all the details that he can give to facilitate this inquiry. This daylight robbery has caused a lot of damage and I dare say beyond repair to the NTC. We remain convinced that the previous administration, the daylight robbers, did not undertake audited accounts for all their years in office for one simple reason: to be able to strip down the NTC. I feel very sad and sorry for all those hardworking people of the NTC. Today, even their pension fund is at stake. We are going to be united on this with the employees and return the glory days back to the NTC. Having said so, a comprehensive review of the NTC's financial model is underway to ensure long-term viability without overburdening taxpayers. Further expanding on the modernization of our bus fleet, Madam Speaker, bus modernization scheme would be optimized to fully support renewal of bus fleet. A sum of 100 million rupees per year is earmarked under the item Bus Modernization Scheme for the next 3 years to provide all bus operators serving along bus routes with financial assistance that will enable them to renew their buses. A financial support of 1 million is provided for the acquisition of a semi-low flow bus, while 700,000 rupees for a high flow bus. However, it has been observed that bus operators were reluctant to acquire semi-low-floor buses, as they face numerous problems with this specific type of bus, including recurrent breakdowns and some even catching fire. We cannot continue putting the lives of our commuters in danger. Thus, my ministry will revamp the bus modernization scheme to support the renewal of the bus fleet, to increase the number of buses in operation, as well as to contribute to reducing the transport problems presently being experienced along many routes. In the same vein, we will also review the age limit of public buses. As we embark to re-engineer on public transport system to offer better service and comfort to commuters, there is an urgent need to safeguard the financial sustainability of the public transport sector. The newly set up Road Transport Advisory Board last Friday by Cabinet will be tasked to undertake this important exercise. Madam Speaker, to conclude, the measures initiated for implementation in this budget exercise are visionary measures for the working generation and the young people. It is a budget of sustainability compared to the Ponzi-like budgets of the previous government, where they did not seem to have any tomorrow. They were giving X to the population and stealing elephants through the back door. And yet, you could see them calling out shamelessly on the streets only 2 days ago. This is the minimum of shamelessness. I think the Honorable Asir Biden had used the word sharam. This is besharam.
Translate, please.
Besharam means shameless. Today, we are facing the impending danger and existential threat of a country in financial crisis, facing a dangerous global economy worsened by the war between Israel and Iran, and now with the USA directly involved in it, which will bring major economic shock to the world. This government is doing its level best to turn the situation around for our own sake and for the sake of the population. My very last word, Madam Speaker, is for the people of my constituency, number 2. I never forget the trust they've put in me. It has been the same for the last 10 years and will continue to be the same as long as I'm standing here. In my actions, I also have that in mind. I thank you all for your attention.
I suspend the sitting for 1.5 hours. We come back at 2:30.